Hello, all, and welcome here to Wilmington, North Carolina for another beautiful night for some football action here as the USLW has their final match of the season for both of these two teams as Port City FC hosts NC Fusion. My name is Zachary Buttright. Thank you for listening in and staying with us here throughout a great season of the USLW. Last night we saw a USL2 match between Port City men's team and South Carolina United. A great game there. The host of Port City FC did lose 2-1 though after a late stoppage time winner for back-to-back games at home for Port City FC. But back to the traditional home for the year at UNCW Soccer Stadium, where the final match of the season will be played. Coming into today's game, Port City FC sitting third in a 7-team South Atlantic division for the USLW. They've got 15 points out of 9 games so far, 5 wins and 4 losses on the year. And then on the bottom of the table is NC Fusion, 9 games played and no points recorded so far. It's been a rough go for them, and they've only scored 1 goal. Look to get another goal on the tallies here today and maybe have a shock result to end the year. Port City FC looking to finish strong on the year, cannot catch anybody in front of them. Charlotte Eagles with 24 points and the NC Courage U23 team with 24. Both the teams, or almost all the teams actually in action tonight. There is a couple games on Saturday to end the USLW. The big one right now is the NC Courage and Charlotte Eagles on Saturday at 6 p.m. in Raleigh, North Carolina. That game right now could look to decide the South Atlantic title and the lone playoff spot for these teams. But as for Port City FC, they'll see their last game here tonight. And it's been a successful first campaign in the USLW as well. They started off their inaugural campaign with a 3-0 win against North Carolina Fusion at McPherson Stadium at Bryant Park Soccer Complex. That was all the way on May 16th.
Yeah, second half.
Just over 40-some, close to 50 days later,
Yeah, that's right.
we have the season finale. Port City FC coming off of 3 straight wins. They beat the Bentams from South Carolina United 3-5 on the road, 5-3 win, big there, and a 4-1 win against Wake FC on the road as well. And Carolina Ascent, they beat 2-1. Port City FC riding the 3-game winning streak will get us going left to right on your screen in the coastal blue jerseys, as NC Fusion going right to left on your screen in the kind of black and purple-esque jerseys with the pink numbers. For the 3 wins for Port City FC, only 2 wins out of 6, but a good comeback here late in the year. Carolina Ascent are behind them in the standings with 12 points in 9 games played. Wake FC already played their 10 games, and they finished the year on 12 points. For Port City FC, they're on the attack early on, as it's Baker. Can't miss her with the orange boots over there. It's cleared away by Stallings. That is Morgan Stallings for NC Fusion. In goal today for Port City FC, Zoe Anderson. And in goal for NC Fusion, Grace Shoemaker. Other games going on, like we said. NC Courage already up on South Carolina United Bantams. And then just the game that we mentioned about the Courage and the Eagles on Saturday. And the only other game is Carolina Ascent versus the Bantams as well. Stallings battling with Jennings. Stallings won the possession, but couldn't get it past Finelli. It's on the foot of Zimmerman. Zimmerman trying to go by Bradley, and whistle blows. Zimmerman was fouled there by Bradley. Look at the lineup here for Port City tonight. It's Chloe Stanley, Zoe Finelli, Evie Baker, Azumioka, Reagan Hamilton. As Fusion play across in here. Cleared away by Port City. Megumi Umemoto, Maris Jennings, Kieran Bradley, Minnie Kelly, and Karina Pete, the 11 for Port City FC. As for NC Fusion, that was Micah Boger. Cross comes in, back post for NC Fusion, headed away by Baker. Not fully cleared yet for Port City. Pete finishes the rest of the clearance off, and now Port City with firm possession of their own, and Kelly will try to hold up the ball. Does a little touch around. It's going to be out of bounds. Last off Kelly, though. Throw-in will be by Emerson Taylor. Lineup for NC Fusion today is Ava Peely, Jillian Garrison, Emerson Taylor, Katie Purnell, Savannah Donahue, Addison Cloutier, Morgan Stallings, as Port City now on the break of their own. We talked about Cameron Zimmerman, Micah Boger, and Jones as well, Haley Jones. So those are all the players that start the match for both of these sides. Port City now with a lot of bodies inside the 18-yard box right now. Strong battle there last off of NC Fusion. Hamilton and Boger got together. Oka out wide now. Port City FC scored all three of the goals in their first meeting in the first half. Now Port City driving. Minnie Kelly with a goal. Karina Pete with a goal as well in that game. Both players playing today as well. Umemoto couldn't win her team a corner, and it's going to be a goal kick for Shoemaker. Port City FC on the year, they've scored 21 goals and conceded 15. Not a bad average there. It's booted long all the way back to Anderson from Stallings. Now Oka back to Anderson. Anderson to Oka, not a lick of pressure there from NC Fusion until they played out wide to Finelli. Now Boger backed off after he went back to Oka. Over to Stanley. Inside to Jennings. Jennings knocked it to Hamilton. Hamilton to Finelli now. Boger pressing. Hamilton got into space there. Finelli got by Boger. It's with Bradley, who's been on a hot streak of scoring as of late. See if she can continue that here tonight. Pete intercepts that one there. Slow rolling pass. Now Pete will look to create something. Over to Kelly now. Back to Jennings. Jennings was already into run mode and had to pull up there to collect the pass. First shot of the game for Port City FC, and first save as well for Shoemaker. Schumacher with the ball at her feet. Now the big question is pronunciations there. Shoemaker like it is said, or Schumacher, like the German kind of pronunciation of it. Let's see if I can get an answer there for the second half here at UNCW Soccer Stadium. Beautiful condition of the pitch. Now, NC Fusion with a chance. Shot blocked away, though. Shot was taken by Lillian Aubie, not originally on the starting lineup, but out there for NC Fusion wearing number 3. Stanley gets it cleared for Port City. Stallings pressuring Uemoto there. There's a chance from Aubie. Blocked away by Stanley. Jennings doing a little bit around the world, dribbling. Gets it over to Stanley, now to Oka. The pitch has seen a little bit of wear. You can tell throughout the season a little bit. Obviously not much use in the springtime as UNCW men's and women's teams both play in the fall. Now it's almost stolen away by Port City, still just in the box. Tantalizingly for Port City, but it's cleared by NC Fusion there. But the grass field here at UNCW, we saw the turf field at historic Legion Stadium last night. A great venue as well, but nothing beats natural grass. Port City seal it back with Jennings. Jennings inside to Karina Pete, pulls it back now, around to the PK spot, shot, oh, just a little bit high there. As the elevator took it to floor 3 instead of the second, and has to take the stairs down. Does Pete, as the shot went high. It's going to be a kick, free or goal kick for Shoemaker. Mad scramble there. Hamilton thought she had it, but it's won by Donahue. Donahue out wide to Purnell. Inside to Donahue. Gaultier. Plays the ball, excuse me, that was Stallings. So NC Fusion in a little bit of a 3-5-2 formation. Or you could say a 4-5-1 when they don't have possession of the ball. 3 center backs there in the middle of the park. Chasing it down was Zimmerman. Now inside, Zimmerman against Umemoto. Zimmerman got there first. Still though with Bradley. Bradley there just dribbling around a couple of bodies. And it's shot that went off the leg of a dark navy purple jersey. So first corner of the game for Port City. And either team, to be honest. Zimmerman will take it with the right boot. Stands really starting to fill up here at UNCW Soccer Stadium. It's headed away by Fusion. Right now, can they get it fully cleared? Stanley with a long rip at it. Still in play, goes out for a throw-in now for NC Fusion. But Stanley was ready for that one with the left boot, as that was going to be dangerous on Schumacher's net. Inside to Karina Pete now. Pete blocked back towards her. She'll have another chance to cross. She does to Jennings, right to the hands of Shoemaker. Shoemaker's punt there, out of bounds for a throw-in for Port City now with Baker. Port City with their whole bench standing up, as you saw, just right there. Port City men's team supporting the women's team as well. A couple of injuries in the game last night for both sides. Just saw Mancuso here with a boot on his left foot. We saw him in a strong tackle right before halftime. He ended up playing 15 minutes of the second half before being subbed off, which shows the testament of the player there after the boot was put on. Obviously, the next day, here's Karina Pete, shot. Just spinning wide, though. It's a good look at it. Had a little bit of space to dribble into. Shoemaker now. Once again on a goal kick. It's going to be a lot of the right side of the field that gets torn up here in the first half, as Port City just the better side, but NC Fusion still with the barrier unbroken. Finelli inside to Bradley. Bradley with Pete there. Could have played it to her feet, decided to play the through ball instead. Bradley chasing it down though, the block, and the ball just spun right back into play. Bradley with the cross and wins another corner for Port City FC. Good hustle back from Pile. But it just worked out perfectly there for Bradley to get the chance. Another corner for Jennings. This one's taken short over to Kelly. Kelly back to Jennings to get a different angle for the corner kick. Now it's in play. Nicely lofted in there. Headed away though and finished by Stallings to get it out of the danger zone for now for NC Fusion. Boger will chase it down. Jennings with a little bit of a interesting use of the pass method there. And it's picked away by Garrison. Still trying to get it fully cleared, our NC Fusion. Pile. It's just a mad scramble of legs there. It somehow ends up with Karina Pete, not offside. Saved by Shoemaker. Came off her line quickly and made the big save. Second save of the day. But her first big moment, as Karina Pete, a couple of players thought she was offsides. She was onsides. The defense just was late to react, and a big save from Shoemaker, as that would have counted. Bradley staying with it now. The cross kind of gets blocked. Good recovery by Zimmerman there. It's just bouncing around inside the 18-yard box, not where you want it to be for NC Fusion. They do finally get it cleared now. But Zimmerman did well there to get the left leg in the crossing effort for Bradley. There's a quarter of an hour into the match now, and a couple of chances, the biggest one coming just a mere seconds ago for Port City FC. That was the chance to break through. But they'll have another look here as Kelly with numbers going forward. Karina Pete holds up the ball. It's with Hamilton now. Takes a touch shot. Shoemaker down to her right, and it's a goal! Goal! Port City FC, and it's scored by Reagan Hamilton off her right foot. Takes a settling touch and just clean and crisp there into the bottom corner. And we talked about how they had a couple of chances in the recent one just a minute or so before the goal was scored. But for Hamilton, good start to this game. Port City off to a good start. NC Fusion obviously playing in a bunch of games so far this year. Their last two games have ended 3-0 in defeat. Before that, a 2-0 defeat and a 4-0 defeat before that. So trying to keep this game close are NC Fusion. Right now, though, it's all Port City. Played long by Stallings. Jennings there gets by the flying leg of Purnell. Jennings pushes it over to Kelly. Kelly driving on Stallings. Now back to Baker. Baker with just speed there. A lot of speed for this Port City FC team, and it's still in play on the end line, so it'll be a throw-in, much better than a corner kick defensively for NC Fusion. But Port City, it didn't take long before they finally found the groove. There's your goal scorer, Hamilton. Hamilton out wide of Finelli. Hamilton in a perfect position to get a good look on goal from that central defensive position. The number 6 role. Stanley over to Oka. Back inside of Jennings to Pete now. It's stolen away there by Taylor. Taylor plays it all the way back to Shoemaker. Shoemaker connects with Donahue. And a nice little combination here for NC Fusion. Jones looking out wide, trying to get there is Boger. Unable to though, but a good little string of passes together for NC Fusion, as that provides some life into this game, potentially a spark for the visitors. Stanley, time to dribble around. No pressure now as it goes back to Anderson. Long ball here to Bradley. Bradley does get the right foot to it. Still great body positioning from her to get by Pile. Cross comes in, back post. Umemoto overran it, so did Kelly, and Jennings couldn't get a clean possession of it. So it's cleared away by NC Fusion. Hold up play by Jones here. Jones gets tripped up. Referee only blows the whistle, I think, for the second time here. Right on the 19-minute mark. So free kick, a chance for NC Fusion here to settle the game down a little bit. See if they can get something off a set piece. That one just a little bit too long for Boger. And Anderson will have a touch of the ball. Very limited so far tonight in that department. But when she gets the opportunity, making sure she fulfills it there. She plays this one back in play, puts this one back in play. But a great crowd here at USLW Soccer Stadium. The best crowd I think we've seen here this season. Stands are almost completely packed there, you see. And it's, as we said, the final home game of the season and final game of the season for Port City women's team. And if you are watching in and a fan of them, of course, stay around as there'll be a little ceremony afterwards. Shot taken there by Zimmerman. A ceremony to kind of commemorate the season. So we'll have that here on stream, I think, as well. Shot there, quickly taken by Zimmerman. Tried to get it away before the two Port City defenders crashed on her. Bradley there, who's been so good on the season, like we said. Lost possession there, though, and it's with Stallings. Purnell knocked it back. Heavy pressure from Umemoto. Shoemaker has to come out after Taylor knocked it back to her. Oka heads it back into the mix. Belay. Back to Shoemaker. First time we've really seen NC Fusion have the ball for a couple of combined seconds, and it's given away though cheaply here. But Port City not really providing much pressure defensively here in the 22nd minute. It's kind of just sitting in the shape, waiting to regain possession and strike. Do have to watch out defensively, though. There's Finelli playing it to Karina Pete. Karina Pete beats B. Lee there. Pete crosses it in, and it gets deflected off B. Lee right into the hands of Shoemaker. Just drops it down and plays it out wide for Boger. Does make the connection to Boger. And Purnell is able to shuffle Kelly off the ball, but then plays it down towards the far corner and rolls all the way out of bounds on the end line. It was the slow boat across the Atlantic there for the ball before it crossed the end line. As we have a moment, I'd like to thank our broadcast partner for Port City Women's throughout this year and Port City Men's as well, TSC TV. We're on TSC TV. We live it, relive it, and replay it. But also thanks for listening in on Sports Engine Live for this final match day for both these teams. Right now, Port City FC lead this one 1-0. We're about halfway through the first half of action. NC Fusion have been getting themselves into the game just a little bit more, as Port City dominated the first 20 minutes. That one by Shoemaker's over the head, though, of Billy. Finelli plays it across to Stanley. Stanley, big crossfield switch to Baker. Beautiful connection there. Baker inside the 18 now, just headed directly up, but it's with the foot of Donahue. Donahue, two Port City players around her. Coastal blue all around in that 18-yard box, but NC Fusion do get it cleared. And it's off the head of Stanley, so it's going to be a throw-in for the visitors. Obviously, if any of you are soccer fans, the World Cup going on right now, biggest event in the world every 4 years, of course, and just lucky enough to have it in US, Mexico, and Canada this go-round. First group has been sewn tight, as that is the first one to have all 4 teams play 3 games. That was Group B, the Canadian group, where we saw Switzerland beat Canada 2-1. Big collision, Umemoto there, and the NC Fusion defender of Garrison. Both players are all right, and they're back up, but whistle blows in NC Fusion's favor. But as we were saying, Switzerland beat Canada to win that group, and then Canada finished second, of course. Bosnia won 3-1 against Qatar, knocking Qatar out of the tournament. Qatar did get their first point in the World Cup against Canada in the first match day. Bosnia will be a third-place team, most likely. 8 of the best 12 third-place teams will make it, and there's actually a really good chance they'll play the U.S. as well, so keep an eye on that one if you're a U.S. soccer fan. This one's Kelly. Kelly driving at it inside the 18 now. She's been forced wide, but cuts it back, gets space now. Does Kelly. Shot! Oh, and it's just had a sail on the sailboat that didn't get lowered in time, and just chose a little bit of power there instead of finesse for Kelly. So Shoemaker will take her time now. As for the group that's going on right now, are the games Brazil, Morocco, and Haiti, and Scotland. as Morocco and Haiti are 2-2 at the break, as Brazil up 2-0 on Scotland. Cross comes in here from Bradley. Nothing much going on there. That group is an interesting group. Brazil, with the draw to Morocco early on, put them in a weird spot, but it looks like they're going to firmly take that group in Group C, while Morocco, with the point, even a loss, it would be enough to get second, as Scotland are losing. Scotland have to be careful not to give up too many goals, though, if they want to be one of those 8 third-place teams, like we mentioned. Port City FC on the break here. Umemoto, shot high and away. Third or fourth one we've seen like that tonight for Port City, but they're really racking up the shots. Just not the place they should be. And as for the last group tonight, it's the Mexico group, of course, Group A. Mexico already winning that group, but a lot to be played for other than that. South Korea with 3 points against South Africa. On 1 point, Czechia, who Mexico plays. Mexico probably not playing most of their starters, or some at least, on 1 point as well, so. But exciting times here in the World Cup, and it's a summer of soccer here. And we're just grateful to be part of that here in Wilmington for the USLW. Cross/shot from Donahue there. Looking for a teammate, but no one in the vicinity, so it goes. And it'll be Anderson just knocking it around. As we're about to touch the half-hour mark here in Wilmington. Lone goal of the game right now. Hamilton in the 16th minute. Port City FC looking to double up the lead here now. Kelly inside the 18, try to cross, but no one there except Bealey for NC Fusion to get it clear. Boger played it back to Purnell, got it cleared, did NC Fusion. Hamilton, the only goal scorer here tonight so far. Inside to Bradley. Bradley finding Umemoto, who had space, but good recovery, but it's only pushed to Karina Pete. Shot blocked away by Shoemaker. Third save of the game for her. And that one had a little bit of movement left to right on it. A little bit of swizzle and swazzle. But saved by Shoemaker nonetheless. It was also a good defensive play there from NC Fusion to kind of poke that one. I think it was Garrison, even though it did go to Karina Pete. Cross comes in from Jennings. It's half cleared, but it's Hamilton again. Shot high. As we see another shot hit the netting behind the goal. That netting getting a lot of use tonight, as Port City has become friends with the catch net behind the right side goal. Whistle blew there for a foul, odd one, as it was kind of just a little tweet from the referee. Wasn't like a full-on blow of the whistle, but nonetheless, still free kick for NC Fusion. To be taken by Garrison. Garrison and Taylor over it together. Maybe try to have a chance out of this. You know, you have to use your opportunities when you get it. And for NC Fusion, only 2 substitutes as well. So a very limited roster for them. And give credit to the ladies, as they've worked hard this year with a very limited roster like we see here today on the road and such. NC Fusion shot Anderson. Had to be aware. It goes wide. It looked like the water bottle took the biggest brunt of that one. You saw it flying there again. Karina Pete knocking it over to Finelli. Finelli with Bradley. Bradley just got to get up and go there. She does. Gets it over to Karina Pete. Cuts back. Shot inside now to Shoemaker. Blocked away. Umamoto's rebound. Just wasn't deflected on goal. And that's going to be another goal kick for Shoemaker. And another save as well. This one in a little bit more dangerous of a position. Double digits in terms of shots for Port City. A lot of those, of course, being off of the frame. Ball played in there by NC Fusion. Finelli shielding it out for a goal kick for Anderson. Fan giving away some free popcorn here in the stands. There's a through ball into Bradley. Bradley gets there first. Shoemaker off the line. Gets down. Bradley gets by though. Can't get it in. She lost possession of it with a big touch there. And good recovery centrally for Purnell. I was able to get, Bradley off kiltered there and really put her behind. Not a corner kick as well, so even better for NC Fusion. Peely hit the turf there, and Finelli. Cross goes in. It's just scrambling around. Kelly blocked by NC Fusion, though. And it will be a goal kick. Last off of Kelly there on the clearance. It was. Hit the shin pad. But a couple chances for Port City once again. Chance on chance on chance. But nothing coming out of it for Port City. 10 minutes remain here in the first half. First half where Port City has ultimately really controlled the game. NC Fusion has had a couple strings of possession, but only one goal to show for it so far. And if you can keep it close for NC Fusion, you never know what can happen late on in the game. Shoemaker now puts the sole on the ball, rolls it out, plays it to Taylor. Excuse me, that was Garrison. Back to Shoemaker. The clearance, though, on the ground. Garrison was on top of it, chased it down, playing it out wide to Pile. Pile, big cross-field switch. Baker ends up getting the first touch there. Hamilton not able to get the second ball, though, and Stallings plays it out wide to Purnell. Purnell gets there before it rolls past the touchline. So NC Fusion with 3 players in the box now, a fourth coming backside. Cross comes in for Purnell. Back post, just a little bit heavy there for Jones. As a little too much work in the gym there from Purnell, as that one was overhit. and not normally a bad thing. But in that situation it was. But a chance nonetheless for NC Fusion to really create something. I mean, you're looking for anything positive for NC Fusion in this game. Umemoto there got shouldered off the ball. It's with Purnell. Purnell plays it back to Garrison. Now it's won by Bradley. It might have got a touch from Pete there. Kylie Pete on the bench today for Port City FC. If even on the active roster, not sure. She might not be, but the lone Pete sister out on the field today. Has done well so far, just not on the score sheet as of yet. Has had numerous chances as NC Fusion get us restarted here. Kelly really pressuring and trips up Purnell over on the far corner. Just played long there. Oka leaves it for Stanley. Stanley does beat Boger there. Little Cruyff action. Speaking of Cruyff, the Netherlands off to a good start in the World Cup. A 2-2 draw against Japan, but a 5-1 win against Sweden has put them in a good spot. Oka. Lots of time to settle. Same with Stanley. Boger not pressing. Long ball play there. Baker trying to run on the end of it. She does get connected with it. Two Port City players in the box, one crashing late. It's played over to Umemoto, bounced around, blocked by Garrison. And another corner kick for Port City. We're close to 5 minutes left in the first half. Jennings, this may be a little bit made for her better than the near side right now with the in-swinging corner, but played pretty flat. Oka gets ahead to it, and Shoemaker easily with a 5th save of the game. Oka got there well, just couldn't get any directional force onto it. And in the end, easy for Shoemaker. Long well played, Stanley. Boger decided not to chase, get in position for NC Fusion, she does. Oka to Finelli. Finelli to Bradley, trying to get back to Finelli, couldn't though for Bradley. Oka was there first on the step, Boger a little bit to the left there. Oka inside to Pete. Pete looking for options, there's no one there. Over to Jennings. Jennings with still no options inside. As pass goes out of bounds, good work from NC Fusion there defensively. It's been stalwarted in the middle of the field. Not much of an impact here for the Breeze in this game. But a beautiful night as well. A lot better than last night was, that's for sure. Humidity was through the roof after the rains that came midday. No rain today and no humidity, or at least not as bad. Good shooting effort there for NC Fusion, and Taylor as Shoemaker plays it over to Garrison. Now NC Fusion with possession around midfield. What can they do with it? They play it out wide over to Jones. Jones trying to chase it on. It's 17 against 17. Finelli was just a step or two behind, but the ball rolls out of bounds. Jones unable to keep it in play. Hamilton able to, or unable to keep it in. Peely now. Throws it inside with a coastal blue jersey right on her back of Jennings. Baker there lets it go through. Zimmerman trying to chase it down. Couldn't before it went out the touchline. It was a turn there from Obi. So only about a minute and a half left in this first half. Port City's lead it 1-0. A lot of this so far today. Back and forth. And then the long ball. Finelli gets onto the end of it again, like we've seen a lot from Port City. Inside to Umemoto. Finelli just kind of calmly running back towards it. Oka driving inside. A lot of running from Finelli today. See the fatigue on her face there. Pete tried to get the leg to it, get there first, but Bradley stole it back quickly. Still with Bradley, now it's with Umemoto. Umemoto shot blocked away, still in bounds, so it's going to be cleared for a throw-in. Much better than a corner kick, though. And NC Fusion have done good today to not concede corners instead of throw-ins. Finelli's cross in. Bradley off the second ball. No one behind her. Shots, and it was a good effort. But just couldn't get the shoulders over it in time. It's lined up nicely. And just good recovery from the NC Fusion defense of Garrison to come across, really caused problems. Now here's NC Fusion. Bogart had to hold up as she was at least 10 yards off sides, but now it was on sides. And it was at 1.3-on-3 for NC Fusion. They've got a chance here. Stallings couldn't get there. First, Hamilton ran towards the ball before Stallings could get there. It's one back, though, by Garrison. And NC Fusion have the ball in the attacking third for the first time in a while with possession. Little back heel by Stallings. Loses possession though in Port City. Look to break out Umemoto. Bradley over on this near side if she wants her. She does choose that outlet. Sliding challenge by Peely. And not much out of time at all, as that's the end of the first half. The referee says it was a pretty clean first half, which it was. And we head to halftime as Port City lead 1-0 over NC Fusion. We'll take a look at the lone goal. Pete kind of held the ball up, and Hamilton takes a touch to gather herself and finishes it into the bottom right corner. That's all the action pretty much in the first half. We'll see if we get some more excitement here in the second. Welcome back here to Wilmington, North Carolina, as it's the start of the second half between Port City FC and NC Fusion. Port City scoring only in the 16th minute, courtesy of Reagan Hamilton, the App State soon-to-be freshman from Franklin, Tennessee. She's played in 12 games and had her first career start October 11th. As a true freshman, she played 8 games. So some appearances for her and a good game tonight to continue her trend of a good summer as well, as the summer of soccer ends here for these teams, as it's the final game of the season. There's a little bit of talking from the referee, maybe an earring or something fell out. So I think the goalkeeper had the earrings in, so had to get some assistance from the 2 center backs for NC Fusion. Shoemaker still in goal. It is Reagan Donnelly in goal for Port City now. It's a great night here for some football in action. As NC Fusion get the second half underway, going left to right, they throw 3 players down there to try and win the second ball. And they do come up with it, Zimmerman. But here's Oka, the player from Japan. Kelly now with it. Kelly centrally to the Louisville product after a freshman year. Plays it over to Bradley. Bradley inside save by Shoemaker. And Bradley, like we've been mentioning, a great season so far. And Bradley, who's played for the Philippines at the youth level for the women's side, and is going to play for the Xavier Musketeers as well. Not the only Philippines national player. This one on top of the netting from Jennings is Azumi Oka as well. Played on the, not the youth level, the actual national team for the Philippines. The center defensive player. Wearing number 4. Talked about how Hamilton's from App State. Listed at 6 foot as well on the roster. A fellow teammate, Morgan Stallings, in the midfield. Stallings with the ball now at App State. Long ball played. Boger trying to chase it down. Boger gets there, but Baker wins it off of Boger. Plays it back to Donnelly. A lot of Division I talent in the USLW. And a lot of products from Wilmington, North Carolina that have gone to Division I level as well. And a couple of players from UNCW here on this Port City women's team, like Umemoto, who we just saw pressuring, and Zoe Anderson as well. Obviously, Zoe Anderson changing place in net to Donnelly. Throw in now for Billy. Past year, Anderson only gave up 3 goals in 6 games played for UNCW. It's cleared here for NC Fusion. Boger trying to chase it down. Zimmerman was there as well, but it's won by Stanley. Stanley couldn't find Kelly for the moment. Bealey's touch, though, goes right into Kelly's lap. So it worked out perfectly. Sliding in as Peely, and that'll be a corner kick for Port City FC. Good challenge in there from Peely. Short again by Jennings. This one will be taken from Baker. Back post. 3 Port City players are there. And they just all kind of converged and let the other one do the job. And then in the end, no one did it. So the ball just harmlessly out of bounds. So once again, Shoemaker, as the sun sets here, you see the tree shadows on the pitch. Jennings wins it out of the air. Now 3 Port City players there. No NC Fusion for the moment. There's a late challenge from Peely on Bradley, and it was very, very critical, as it was 3-on-2 in favor of the Coastal Blue. Jennings to take the free kick again, or the corner, excuse me. The Miami, Ohio player. A good year for them in men's basketball. Didn't lose a game until the conference tournament. From Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, is Jennings. It's headed away though. Can't get past the first defender by Garrison. Garrison playing on Campbell's women's team. And from Sanford, North Carolina, near where I went to university at Fayetteville, Methodist University up there. Donnelly, no pressure from Boger, plays it out over to Oka. And for Oka, the UNC Greensboro player, but as we said, that Philippines national team experience for the 20-year-old. Played high school at Jacksonville, North Carolina, just 30 minutes up the road. Bradley unable to keep that one in. Bradley's had a great year on the road. At home this year, not as much success. Another goal kick taken by Shoemaker. Shoemaker, who plays at High Point University, the freshman going into sophomore year. High Point, going back to the men's basketball reference, made the NCAA men's basketball tournament as well. One of the first years that they've made that. Baker played it to Pete. Pete lost it though and tripped up. There was Donahue. Stallings will take this free kick. Big chance here for NC Fusion to try and find the leveler. Stallings whipped in with the left foot, a little bit too much whip on it though. As the whip created some ice cream there from all the churning on that ball. Nonetheless, it's right in the hands of Donnelly, and it's quickly taken. Finelli pulls it back and gets Jones to go flying by, and now Umamoto. Still with possession after a little give and go. Cutting inside is Umamoto. Well defended there by Purnell, though. Purnell with a run of her own going the opposite direction. Purnell playing it out wide to Zimmerman. Zimmerman getting over there. Back facing the goal she's trying to go to now. Gets it turned around. Zimmerman with the ball at her feet. Just clunked up, though, a little bit. And Baker passes it back to Stanley. Stanley made 3 appearances in her first season with NC State. And missed the remainder, or missed a major portion of that year after an injury. So good to see her back on the pitch as well. And getting ready, as we mentioned, for her sophomore season. Jennings trying to push it inside, intercepted by Donahue. Finelli just ran at it like a locomotive on the train tracks without any brakes and gets it over to Umamoto. Umamoto right on the penalty spot doing a couple box touches, and this one will go out, it looks like, for a goal kick, yes. Umamoto with a little nifty footwork there. Some rolls with the sole before the shot just goes high. A lot of shots off frame tonight for Port City, which is why the game is still 1-0. And in the World Cup, Morocco now leads 3-2 over Haiti, making the comeback twice. They were down 1-0 and 2-1 at one point. So that puts them in firm possession of second place. Scotland now trail 3-0, so hurting them in the goal differential department of the best third place teams. 3 points might be enough to get through. This is right into Kelly, though, and they score for Port City FC. Quick transition and goal. Not much of a celebration there for the Gulls, but they finally find the second goal of the game out of nothing. A quick little transition play as Kelly finds it. There's the Umamoto miss. And it was just so quickly developed there by Port City. Now Kelly gets another goal against NC Fusion on the year. And it was an easy one. Shoemaker did all she could coming out there. But Scotland down 3-0 against Brazil, and Neymar Jr. on the pitch as well. First time since 2023 that he's been on for Brazil. And big debate about if he should have been in the national team. Obviously a lot of knee injuries to the same knee. So the free kick was taken quickly. First yellow of the game to Hamilton after the blocked free kick. Obviously not allowed to do that. I feel like everyone's got their own opinions of the Neymar situation. And that's right, to have your own opinion. And I think you can have that. Don't think that I should try to persuade you either way. But here's Port City again with numbers going forward. Over to Bradley. Bradley just driving there at Garrison. Still cutting inside is Bradley. Shot high, though. Bradley cannot find the right connection tonight. Just firing or misfiring a cylinder tonight. 7 of 8 cylinders going for her, right, as she's done everything there, but not the last product for her. But in the 54th minute, Port City FC still with a double advantage now. Because that is critical. Baker puts the sole on the ball. invites pressure from Zimmerman. Baker gets inside. Zimmerman didn't chase, and it's right to the hands of Shoemaker, though. Shoemaker's long ball there. Boga trying to get it out of the air. Jennings ended up playing it to a purple shirt. Looking for Zimmerman. Couldn't connect, though, and now Port City on a break. They're trying to get out of the midfield log jam right now. Peely does connect with Boulder. Now Albee offsides there, and Donnelly off the line to collect it nonetheless. But offsides was Jones. And for these teams, or at least the goalkeepers for Port City FC, nothing to do today. No shots even on frame or in the vicinity of the goal. Port City's done a good job to limit that. We'll see a couple of subs here. Donahue comes off, and so does Jones for NC Fusion, and the two subs on the bench of Rain Gibbs and Ava Jones comes on. So Jones will play a kind of a center attacking midfield role, number 10. For her, and then for Gibbs, more of a left wing, left midfielder. Stanley inside to Hamilton. Cloutier pressuring. Cloutier actually on now. That was the other substitute, so excuse me, Gibbs not on. Cloutier now on for NC Fusion. Albee doing a nifty bit of work on this near touchline. Stallings, possession. NC Fusion have had a couple strings like this. Not any recent, though. All the way back to Shoemaker. Not the greatest of pass over to Garrison. He just has to get it out of the zone, and Jennings ends up collecting it as we pass the hour mark here at UNCW Soccer Stadium. It is 2-0 Port City FC with a half an hour remaining. Shoemaker out wide to Purnell. Foul on Purnell there, though. As Umemoto, little grab of the shoulder there, and then the trip to follow. Fusion were able to keep it in for a second, but then it went out of bounds. This game is just had a little bit of the sting taken out of it throughout the game. You've just seen a lot of shots that have gone high and wide. Shows a little bit maybe lack of focus, concentration for Port City so far tonight. Could be a little bit more clinical. At least get some more on frame. Pete trying to stretch for that one, couldn't get to it. Bradley pressuring as well. Stallings still with possession with the left boot, trying to hit it over to Coutier. Does. Beautiful connection there. Coutier now with something to work with, trying to find Zimmerman. Baker touches it back to Donnelly. Almost caught Donnelly in motion, but was able to get the momentum back towards the way of the ball and eliminate any danger. It's probably the most dangerous moment on goal here tonight. Bradley Nifty work to get around the two defenders from NC Fusion. Too much weight on the pass to Pete, though. And another goal kick for Shoemaker. I'd like to take a moment while we have here to thank you for listening in and watching the USLW. As we mentioned, first year in the league for Port City FC. And they have had a good year. They're on their, it looks like they're on their way to their 6th win on the year out of 10. And a 3rd place finish in the league, and eclipse not only double-digit points, but multiply that by 2. So 20 points on the year. 20 puntos. 20 puntos. If we go with the Spanish version of it. This one's inside of Jennings. Got there. Oh, and Port City players are calling for it off the head of the Fusion player after Jennings. It does go off of Pili there, so it should have been a corner kick, but tough to see that in the moment. And there's another goal kick for Shoemaker. More goal kicks tonight for her than it feels like shots, and that's honestly a hard thing to do with how many shots Port City is flown high and wide. Touch inside from Pili, stolen by Pete, trying to hit it on to Uemoto, ends up getting it to Kelly instead wide. Kelly crosses it, it's into the hands of Shoemaker. Bradley was the lone Port City player in the coastal blue jersey. Back post. Brunel trying to get it cleared. And off the Port City player for another, guess what, goal kick for NC Fusion. Stanley clears it wide, thrown for NC Fusion once again. Baker still with the ball at her feet, attached like glue on the boot there. Pete pushes on it to Jennings. Beautiful finish. Goal! Port City FC and Jennings. Clinical finish. Perfect angle here from the broadcast booth and the camera angle. That's one to watch back for her and put on the highlight reel. First time, opens up the hips. No keeper saves that one. And it's 3-0 now for Port City FC. Jennings, not many goal contributions on the year, but gets one there. Port City driving again. Pete cuts it back, shot blocked away, and Fusion are able to get it cleared. This is the same scoreline we saw in the first game of the season between these two teams, 3-0. Obviously a little bit different in terms of the stadium. That is going to be Cassidy Oldham, who's on now for Port City FC and gets fouled on our first real action in the game. It's going to be a yellow card for Bogart as well. She got physical there, and Oldham took a tumble, not a dive. She got a lot of help there. As it is Baker off for Port City FC. That's one of the couple subs for Port City. Hamilton, the first goal scorer of the game, off as well, and Avery Barr replaces her. That's the only other change for Port City so far tonight. So 2 changes for Port City. And now we'll see a couple more. Bradley's first successful USLW campaign comes to a close. Doesn't get on the score sheet tonight, but a great run of form for her coming into tonight's game. And it's also then a night for Kelly, who gets on the score sheet the first of the second half, the second goal of the game. The 2 new players for Port City are, we'll get you those numbers in a second, but 4 changes now for Port City already. There's early action for the fresh legs of Kagan Leonard. Inside to Pete, who just pushed it on to Leonard. Back post is going to be Anna Hussey. Stanley decides to just get it out of danger. Donnelly doesn't take the touch, just plays over to Oka. Settles it. Port City definitely looking to keep the clean sheet here. As this is to Leonard. She was off sides though. Port City not keeping a clean sheet even though they've won 3 straight games since the 3-0 win here at USLW Soccer Stadium on May 26th. Almost a month ago. It was their 4th game of the season. And the only other clean sheet they've recorded is against NC Fusion in the first game. So a lot of goals conceded for them. Would love to finish the season out with a goose egg on the scoreboard. Ball's in play. You might not think it is by the way the players are just standing there, but just waiting for Shoemaker to kind of do something with it. Oka, out wide to Hussey. Hussey trying to push it over to Barr. Inside now to Pete. Port City with numbers forward. Pete looking to get on the score sheet tonight. Cuts it back. Has done it a couple times like that so far tonight. And top corner. She scores. Golazo! That is probably the best goal we've seen tonight other than the Jennings goal. And Pete finally with the smile on her face gets 4 on the night. And the most goals they've scored since the Wake FC game 2 matches ago have really started to pile it on late in the goals department. Uemoto also gets the assist on that goal as Port City try to put an exclamation point on their final game of the season. It's over to Leonard. Jennings gets pulled back there, and it'll be a free kick awarded to her from Jones. Kagan Leonard plays here at UNCW, the substitute. She started her collegiate career at St. Louis before transferring here back to Wilmington. This one's crossed in. Shoemaker there, able to collect it. Excuse me, she actually played her freshman and sophomore years at St. Louis. So this year coming up, as that one's just out of bounds, Stallings thought she had kept it in. But Leonard from New Windsor, New York. We'll be playing our first year at USLW Soccer Stadium. And gets a good taste of what the pitch is like here during summer ball. Leonard trying to chase it down. Leonard putting heavy pressure there on Taylor. Got it back to Shoemaker. Good turn from Zimmerman. Has the chance created now as Boger holds up the possession of the ball. Healy is now NC Fusion, who haven't had possession inside the attacking third for a while. Zimmerman with a cross there, looking for Coultier. Finelli to Umemoto. Umemoto had to take it all the way back to Oka. Oka back to Donnelly. Once again, no shots or saves for the Port City keeper, either Anderson or Donnelly. Just the touches they've been gifted there. Pete plays it inside to Jennings, looking for a brace. That one, though, was always rising like the sun every single day, like clockwork. And we'll see another substitution, 2 for Port City. So it's going to be Leonard who goes to right back, it looks like. The 2 players off are Stanley and Finelli. So Finelli is replaced by Leonard. It's going to be Paige Everett who enters for Port City, as well as a new center midfielder as Barr drops down into center back role. Pete, or Hussey, has actually gone to the center midfield position as Lauren Edmund will enter.
Port City substitutions off the field. Number 6, Chloe Stanley. Number 17, Zoe Peller. And in the match, number 18, Paige Everett. And number 14, Lauren Edmund.
Port City making use of their whole bench almost. I think they've substituted every single player that is available tonight. So getting all the bodies on the pitch. There's Everett knocking it over to Jennings. Jennings with a nifty half turn there. Gets it over to Pete. Remember that turn by Jennings if they do get something out of this for Port City. Everett inside to Pete. Pete to Jennings once again, where she scored from almost the first time today. Shot. Maybe took a deflection by Umemoto. It did there. As we're under a quarter hour left in this game. 12 and a half minutes left in the season for both these two teams. I'm not sure there'll be much added time as the referee didn't add much in the first half. Corner taken by Jennings again. Jennings in swinger. two NC Fusion players there headed away. Zimmerman was the first player to get the block in there as well, and then it's now fully cleared where Barr will settle it down. Nifty touch to just kill the ball there and got it back quickly, but nothing happening yet for Port City. But Pete there wins it off of Burnell. Pete crosses to Jennings, back post, and tried to get her second of the night. There's a little clap there to Pete with a great ball, and that was the classy combination of the game. Brought to you by Wrightsville Beach Brewery. We talked about it yesterday as well, the classy combination. The Pete to Jennings there, classy combination, and no goal off of it, but a real good team play. Jennings there gives it away to Zimmerman. Zimmerman tried to find Stallings, but it's intercepted by Hussey. Now Hussey was looking for Everett. Everett would have been a stretch for her to get there. And we've talked about the crowd tonight. Great atmosphere here for the last game in the USLW season for Port City FC. Nifty from Peely there to keep possession. Zimmerman on the turn, taking on Oldham. Zimmerman driving. Unstoppable right now. Zimmerman plays it centrally. No help from her, though. Most dangerous that NC Fusion have really looked the whole game. Throwing from Port City as we're under 10 minutes now left here in the inaugural season for Port City FC. Barr. Pass intercepted by Zimmerman. Pete all the way back from center forward, pressuring Stallings. Pete picks it off there, though, from the pass from Peely. Now Port City with numbers going forward. They've had quick counterattacks so far tonight. Uemoto may take it herself, though. Lines it up with the right foot, finds Everett. Oh, and touched off the bar by Shoemaker. Brilliant save coming flying off the line. And was able to get the hands up as Everett saw nothing but net there. Biggest crowd here in USLW history for Port City FC in their 5 home games this year. 257 the number. So a good start to their hopefully long history in the league, and just keep advancing in that department. Jennings can't get that one in play, puts the hands in the face. She didn't see it, but a little disappointed with herself there. This would be the biggest win in Port City FC USLW history. Of course, obviously this is the inaugural season, but the biggest win before this, 2 are pairs of 3-2 wins and a 4-1 win as well. It's inside to Hussey. Can Hussey get there? She can. Jennings just couldn't deflect it towards goal, though. NC Fusion trying to get it away. Albee looking for Zimmerman. Oldham shields it out. Oko's had a great year after her season last year at Port City FC. Look to see if she returns next year as well. if we'll be here for Port City FC's women's team. It's been a great honor to be here for a second straight year for Port City FC, seeing them in the WPSL win the division and have a great, successful USLW campaign. Umemoto hits this one high. A season that's gone well and only looking for better things. You know, one of the biggest games that we got to see here at USLW Soccer Stadium was the 3-2 loss to NC Courage, where they were well in that game, were Port City. As Port City equalized right before halftime and took the 2-1 lead before NC Courage won it late. We've seen a lot of late winners here this year at UNCW Soccer Stadium, so it's been a lot of competitive games. A couple blowout wins for Port City as well. Aubie clears it. Pete and Kelly with goals in that game against NC Courage. The big thing about them is they made 3 straight USLW finals, looking to repeat that feat this year. Out of 4th, cross comes in, headed away by Garrison. NC Fusion still trying to get it fully cleared, but Hussey there and Leonard will win it, knock it out off of Purnell. Edmond driving at Stallings. Still with Edmond. Cross comes in from Leonard. To Pete's right foot. Settles it down to Pete to the left. Shot! Beautiful! Goal! Pete with a brace. And 2 golazos from Pete as well to put a cap on this season and just sign it, dot it, and check it away. A beautiful, beautiful goal. Top notch from Pete once again. And a great assist for Leonard, who gets her first point for Port City here at UNCW Soccer Stadium. Here's Boger, though, poked away by Barr and Oka. Little combination from them. Umemoto now pushes it over to Hussey. Leonard right off the back of her assist for Port City. Crosses it in right into the hands of Shoemaker there, though. But for Port City, as we mentioned, a good start in the USLW. The NC Courage, as we mentioned, they're going to have to get a draw or a win against the Charlotte Eagles. Umemoto steals it here. Shot high, though. I think the tiebreaker for the league is head-to-head, so the Courage will go into that last game of the season on Saturday against the Charlotte Eagles with a 3-point advantage, but the tiebreaker is head-to-head. They haven't played the Charlotte Eagles this year. If the Charlotte Eagles end up winning that game, they will be the South Atlantic Division champions against the NC Courage. Of course, that game is on Saturday at 6 p.m. at First Horizon Stadium at WakeMed Soccer Park. That's field number 5. That's a big game. And a draw or a win for Courage will be enough to get to the playoffs once more, or they could miss the playoffs altogether if the Eagles win by trying to get to their 4th straight final after winning the title in 2024. Pete off the counter tag now over to Umemoto. Touches inside. Shoemaker gets the right shoe down there and blocks it away for a corner. It all started with Barr snuffing out the attack from Zimmerman. And gets big, does the goalkeeper there of Shoemaker. There's only about 2 minutes left here for Port City FC to officially book the victory tonight. Jennings will once again take the corner. Close to double digits for her. Shoemaker punches it with the right hand. Up and away. And cleared all the way to Oldham now. Oldham may eye up across, but pushes it over to Everett. Everett still possession after Boger there with a big challenge. Oldham now driving towards the corner flag here on the near left-sided corner. Cannot find Umemoto over her head though, still with Hussey. Hussey plays it to Leonard. Leonard now was with Jennings. Jennings still over on that far side. Jennings somehow still with the ball at her feet. Edmonds ended up getting it after NC Fusion half cleared it. They still half cleared. Stallings gets contact to it. Edmonds sliding challenge, still with possession for Port City is. Leonard could cross this one back in. She does still have possession somehow. Port City just more tenacious right now than NC Fusion in the last minute of regulation here. The USLW Soccer Stadium now played out wide. Edmonds has a chance for a late cross in. This one though never stood a chance off the right boot of Edmonds and goes down to tie the shoe. A lot of numbers forward for Port City. Just seeing what they could capitalize on there. Taylor plays it over to Garrison, now to Purnell. Not sure there'll be any added time here. Shoemaker tried to clear that one. Not the best for her there, but in a game that's 5-0 and seconds ticking away, that might be the last kick of the game for Shoemaker and the last play as well. We'll see. Pete over to Everett. 90 minutes on the clock now. Umemoto can't get there. It stays with Hussey. Hussey gets it taken away by Jones, who clears it long. Referee looking at the watch. Nothing doing right now from the center referee. Barr played it inside to Jennings. Jennings with one of the goals tonight. Hamilton opened the scoring. She's off the pitch now. Kelly scored the second in the 54th minute. She's off as well. And Pete with the latest 2 goals for 4 and 5 for Port City tonight. Cut inside. Shot by Leonard over there. And there's the final blows of the whistle on the first season for USLW play for Port City FC, and they end it with a bang as they win 5-0 over NC Fusion. What a game here tonight at UNCW Soccer Stadium. And Port City, 6 wins out of 10 games and scored 26 goals. Only conceded 15. NC Fusion end the year with 1 goal scored and 26 against. And 10 losses, no wins, no draws. Look to improve on that next year, but a lot of young players on that team still in the NC Fusion ECNL Academy ranks. So looking for youth there for them to kind of build up the experience, and a lot of experience here this season. We'll take a look at some of the highlights here from this evening's game. We'll start with the first save of the game. Pete ran onto it. She would get a brace later on, but she was stuffed there by Shoemaker. This is Pete again getting a shot saved. She was really stymied in that first half by Shoemaker. 3 saves already on Pete in that first half. We're looking at the saves right now. Here's Bradley, who gets her shot stopped. Couldn't get on the scoreboard tonight. Umemoto driving the cross. This was a good one. First time by Everett. Pete playing it over to Umemoto. Another save by Shoemaker. Those are the big saves for Shoemaker. Racked up a lot. And we'll get a look at some of the best 2 goals of the game. This is the opening goal, the most important, that set the difference apart. 16 minutes, Hamilton, gets that one. And then arguably one of the best goals, Pete with the non-dominant foot, just top corner. Pete's goal is just unstoppable. on the night. Jennings had a great one-time cross-body shot when she gets interviewed by the local news station. And that'll do us here in Wilmington. And I want to say thank you for listening in and thanks for staying with us all year long. Port City FC's men's next game will be on Saturday. It's a big game for them, trying to get their way up the table as they got 2 more home games, followed by 2 more away games, 4 total games for them left in the year. It's going to be a ceremony to thank the season and a little bit of ceremonial stuff for Port City FC's women's team coming up here. You'll see it on the stream. I think we'll keep that up. And for Zachary Butchwright and myself, that's all we have is Port City winning 5-0. Thanks for listening in this year. As we sign out from around the world, Danke, Auf Wiedersehen, grazie, ciao, gracias, adios, thank you, and so long.
Ladies and gentlemen, Port City fans, tonight marks our final home match of the regular season. We want to take this time to look back and celebrate the incredible milestones, history-making moments, and unforgettable achievements of this phenomenal squad. A few outstanding performances from this inaugural USLW season, all of which were added to tonight. Port City was the only team to score multiple goals versus first place NC Courage, accounting for 2 of their 3 goals against all season. Karina Pete and Kieran Bradley are tied for 5th in the league for goals scored at 7 each. Karina is 5th in the league for assists with 3, and Meg Umamoto comes in at 6th with 2. We are 16th in the league for goals for at 21. We are 11th in the league for goals against with 11, including 3 clean sheets. All of this after being promoted to a new league and newly appointed head coach. A job well done and a season well played. Thank you, Coach Biggs and staff, for your leadership, dedication, and hard work. Let's hear it one more time for your Port City FC!